Hello. So today's an office day and probably have to go back home to get ready for going to the office. I just wanted to make a video as it might be the only fun thing I do this morning before I have to go to the office. So what I wanted to talk about today is what I learned about humor from writing books. So what I think a lot of the humor comes from in my book is Kenneth and Rachel arguing. I think that's a big source of humor in my book. I remember this joke that I made. It's in the fifth book of the Alien Annihilator series. Kenneth and Cleo is 9 months pregnant with Kenneth's baby, and they decide to throw a baby shower to, celebrate the upcoming birth of Kenneth and Cleo's baby. And Rachel buys the baby a shirt. It says, "My aunt is way better than my dad." And she talks about how she wants to be like an aunt to the baby. And she makes a snide aside remark to Kenneth. She's like, and I'm way better than her dad. So I think this is funny because Kenneth and Rachel have this relationship where they're always arguing or competing against each other throughout the book, and I think it's funny to nod to this fact by saying that. I think it's funny to nod to this fact by Rachel saying that she's gonna be a way better influence in the baby's life than her own dad is gonna be, because I guess she's kinda arrogant. So this is one good example of how I keep my books funny. So I want to talk about how Cleo and Kenneth fall in love now. So they're in this underground cave, and there's this puzzle that they need to solve in order to get to the Alien Annihilator's facility. And they end up solving the puzzle. But after doing some research, they find out that if the puzzle was done incorrectly, then they would be trapped in that underground cave forever. And so Kenneth decides that he's gonna risk it he's gonna like push the button and risk getting trapped in there forever. And this is basically where Cleo fell in love with him, because she didn't know any other guy who would make this sacrifice for her. And so that's basically where they fall in love. So I want to talk about Brandon now. Brandon is the last known member of the Alien Annihilators, and he's a descendant of the leader of the Alien Annihilators. It was his forefather, Gregory, that put an end to the ultimate alien, Lord Blazer. And so I want to clarify that the Alien Annihilators used to be a huge alien resistance group, but Lord Blazer infiltrated their facility and he killed a lot of people, and a lot of the members of the Alien Annihilators, they went into hiding. But Gregory didn't give up, the leader. He didn't give up, and he ended up being able to take down Lord Blazer by himself. And now he carried his... Gregory made sure that his descendants were all informed that aliens were a real threat on the Earth, and this story was carried down to... This story was passed on to generation to Brandon, and so Brandon's basically the only member of the Alien Annihilators now. And Brandon is a wizard, and he has powers that are essential to fighting against the aliens. And Cleo, Rachel, and Kenneth meet him at the Alien Annihilators facility. And that's where he gives them the Gauntlet of Light. It's a weapon for fighting against the aliens, and there's only one person who it obeys. And this person is Cleo, and in the end she uses it to kill the servants of Lord Blazer. Only one servant of Lord Blazer is Selena, but her older sister Melinda is still alive, and she escapes at the end of the first book, and she becomes like the main villain of the second book. They thwart the attempts to resurrect Lord Blazer, and they kill Selena, but Melinda's still alive and she still wants to resurrect Lord Blazer. So before I talk about Brandon, I want to talk about I want to talk about this guy from the Ranger's Apprentice series. His name is Halt, and I think this character was an inspiration for Brandon, because Halt is like this legendary guy who has very uncanny powers, and he's kind of mysterious. And I think this is what inspired Brandon, because Brandon is also a guy who is kind of reclusive, mysterious, but has these powers. And so Brandon's like kind of this old cranky guy, I guess, and I think a lot of the humor also comes from Brandon and his banter with the younger people. Like for example, in the 4th book of the Alien Annihilators, Brandon uses his power to defeat this massive eel in a lake, and Kenneth congratulates him. He's like, "Great work, Gramps." And then Brandon's like, "Yeah, whatever, twerp." So I think this is kind of funny, because Kenneth's making fun of Brandon's age, and then Brandon kind of makes fun of his age by calling him twerp. I kind of want to talk about how Kenneth proposes to Cleo. It's like in the 3rd book. It's at the end of the 3rd book. They're surrounded by... So they're at the bottom of a hill, and there's like a horde of scratchers. So what scratchers are they're like these zombie-like creatures. They were infected with parasites created by the aliens, and they've become like zombie-like creatures. So they have like long claws and sharp teeth, and they're basically the same as zombies. So Cleo is supposed to use the Gauntlet of Light to destroy these zombies, but it's not working for her. So I want to tell you something about the Gauntlet of Light. The Gauntlet of Light only works when Cleo has the desire to protect the people that she loves. That's the only way it works. And the reason it wasn't working is that she kind of lost this desire to protect the people that she loved. And the reason for this is that she was mad at Kenneth. He hurt her friend Rachel, and the reason he hurt her is because